I gotta turn on my microphone. Hey, that would help, huh? I'm like, oh man, I don't have bars. Dang it. Okay, we're good. We're good. Today feels like a Monday, even though it's a Wednesday. Oh, I'm so... it's been a day. Tell you that. It's been a day. I've been completely overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed. Yes, Elfie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the idea for the student challenge. Thank you for that. So I just sent out the student challenge email. You might find it in your email if you want to go check it out really quick. Today, you might see in the email, today is super exciting. It's the 3D Character Workshop 2-year anniversary. 2 years I've been doing this. Isn't it crazy? And it's all thanks to you guys. It's all thanks to you guys. I can't, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I really, really appreciate it. You guys allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah, it's going well. We keep getting new students and we keep getting tons and tons of new artwork from all you guys. It's just been quite the ride, quite the ride. Yep, 2 years. So I launched the course on May 1st of 2017. And now we're just about to cross 1,000 students. So crazy. I can't wrap my brain around that because, like I said in the email, you know, the game industry, even the film industry, television, collectibles, just being an artist in an entertainment industry like that, it's very much like a roller coaster. It's up and down. You're moving studios here and there. You don't know where you're going to land, where you're going to work, if you're going to stay there for very long. I myself I've worked at like 7 different studios now, I think. 6 or 7. It's been crazy. And what I did I created this course to kind of make a bridge for me to help the finances in between things, right? So like when Disney shut down, that's your income ends, you know, so you're having to do freelance to make ends meet. And I did okay with the digital tutor stuff that I did a while ago. And so I made that little frog tutorial, if you guys are familiar with that one. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I can go bigger with this and make a cushion. So when my studio job ends, I don't have to hurry and rush out and go do a whole bunch of freelance stuff. Maybe I can just, you know, use this course as a cushion. And the course became the thing. You know, it's like the next, instead of the bridge, it became the building that I was going to. So yeah, Thomas, you guys, I mean, it's just speed sculpting. It's to get you guys out of the rut of, you know, getting so, I got to be perfect. I got to get this in here and I just got to do. So I think I want to live stream a couple of them if I can, and just get in there and just practice and push yourself and break out of that mold of, I got to do everything just perfect. And just, if you think about a traditional sculptor with traditional clay, and when they lay that clay down, most of the time they're just slapping it down there and just getting it into place. It's more like when I did figure drawing, there was a sculptor there who would do figure sculpting, and he would do an entire sculpt in like an hour, right? Like full on beautiful sculpt in an hour. And yes, he's had practice and he got there, but it's just to get you kicking, right? When some of my best hand-drawn artwork has happened on, what is it called? It's not an Etch-a-Sketch, but it's similar, where it's made of magnets and you just wipe it away when you're done. So you draw something and you sketch and then you wipe it away. Draw something, sketch, wipe it away. And some of my best stuff well, not best stuff, but a lot of happy accidents and things just came from that, because I knew in the back of my mind, this is just kind of throwaway work. It's more about helping me just get better as an artist. And that's what this is about. So it's not really about the final product. It's about you getting in there and just, you know, it's instead of the specific quality, it's more about the quantity, it's like a sketchbook, right? When people are like, go fill a sketchbook. And when you're filling a sketchbook, it's not about the what you're sketching in there necessarily. It's about getting better. And when you're sketching, you're getting better. When you're sculpting, you're getting better. So it's like an excuse to get yourself in front of a computer at least an hour, if not 3 hours per day, if you can, possibly, and just get something. Put something down. Just get something, right? So, yeah, just try. That's all it is, Thomas. Try. And you don't need to go post your stuff in the community if it makes you nervous and you think you're gonna, you know, if you have anxiety about it. You don't have to go post. Just practice. Just practice, and start sculpting. So that's kind of what the speed sculpting is all about. I used to do these lunch crunches. I don't know if any of you guys have seen them on, let's see. Okay, so on Vimeo, let me see if I can find me. Okay, so if you just do Vimeo Shane Olsen inside of Google, you can see these lunch crunches. And I don't know why this thing showed up, but you can see some of these lunch crunches, like this elephant I made. And this I made back in 2013, 2013. So you can kind of see, and I just recorded myself doing one of these, and it took me, this is compressed to 2 minutes, but it took me a lunchtime, so an hour, right? And I wasn't crazy proficient with ZBrush, and I don't know, these didn't, now that I go back and I look at them, they're just okay. You know what I mean? But they made me better, and they made me better inside of ZBrush. You can see this, it's funny to see this old interface and to see how I used to do this stuff. I would mask out areas and pull them out of the surface. And back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And yeah, there's some, and they're just a lot of fun. So in order to do these time lapses, this is actually built into ZBrush. You can record yourself inside of ZBrush. You don't have to have OBS or something to record yourself, or Camtasia. You can do it right inside of ZBrush. So yeah, this was the point pusher thing. Yep, point pusher is Danny Williams, and yeah, he started this. It was called Lunch Crunch. He used to run, it was before 10,000 hours. He used to have one called Lunch Crunch, and he would do it. So it's just getting something, just pushing, trying to get something done in a short amount of time. And in that email I sent you, I also sent you a video from Jan Sculpts. You guys should watch that if you have time. It's really, really good as far as like why you should speed sculpt every day, especially when you're first starting out. So Lucky, really quick, how do you record yourself? You go up to Movie right here, and you can see it says Record, Turntable, Snapshot. Time lapse is the one you want. So if I click time lapse, okay, and every time I do a move, you can see it said Snapshot 000001 recorded. And so if I move this again, 002 recorded. So every time you touch the model or rotate the camera or do something, it's going to record a snapshot, okay? And it records it into this movie right here. So I'm going to pause the recording. I only have 3 frames, but then when you want to play it back, you just hit play movie and it will play it. And you can watch yourself back. And you can also keep going. You don't have to, you can pause. It's not like a live recording, so if your dog's barking or something, it doesn't record sound, but if you need to leave and go do something, like go to the bathroom or something, you can. And you don't have to hit pause on a time lapse. As long as you're not touching your model or rotating it or anything, it is essentially paused. So it's really nice that that it makes it so you can just record a movie, Does it cause ZBrush to crash? No, it's just recording snapshots. So it's not like it's recording a big old movie or anything. You know, it's just a bunch of snapshots in a sequence, essentially an animation. Then when you're done, what you can do is you can save it out. So save as, and you can export it. So you can export it out as like an MPEG movie, and it'll make a movie for you. And you can also, when you go in here, go to you can change this fade in and fade out of the title image, because you typically don't want the title image on there. You can just roll those all the way to 0, and it won't show ZBrush, you know, in the very beginning or end. So it's really cool. I should send out an email with those directions so you guys know how to record a time lapse, because it's really fun to watch yourself, you know, do a speed sculpt. It's really refreshing, and it kind of makes you want to do more, you know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yep, MPEG there. Speaking of dinosaurs, it's no MP4 or anything like that. Yeah, MPEG. Anyway, okay, you guys. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what you guys make. And please don't hesitate and say, oh, I don't have time, and, you know, make excuses for it. Just anywhere you can fit it in, even if you can't do it every single day, just try and do some speed sculpts. And like I said, you can do it in Dynamesh or Sculptris Pro, anything you want to just kind of let the program get out of the way so you can just try and make something. That's the whole thing. Okay. All right. Oh, Polygon has done a decent time-lapse video. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to see your time-lapse videos. That would be awesome. That would be super cool. Do you have to use reference? No, you can do your own. You can look at the, you know, what Tom Bancroft has put up on the Mermaid website. Each one of those has like a little inspirational, you know, word or something, a little sentence. You can look at that, and if you feel inspired and you want to do something on your own, feel free. Just, you know, just sculpt. That's the whole idea. Yeah, Shon, for sure. Have you ever seen a lot of artists work and felt too bad about doing your own work because you felt self-conscious every day? Every day. It doesn't stop. I know you want it you to be like, oh, now that you've reached a certain level, do you feel like you're done and you can just outclass everybody? No. I'm self-conscious about my art every single day. Every time I post something, I'm like, oh man, is this good enough? Is this crappy? You know? It's just the mind of an artist. You just get it, you know. Yeah, you can put sound to it for sure. Would simple base meshes be allowed? Yeah. I mean, you can start with a simple base mesh and just create it into whatever you want. Like I said, the whole idea is just to sculpt, to get you going, get you sculpting, post something. I would love it if people that never, or that have just bought the course, that have just watched the videos and they haven't really done anything, they've dabbled here and there. I want them just to say, you know what? Screw it. Today is the day that I get in there and I just start creating, even though it's going to be throwaway and I don't care about it. I just want to go in there and have fun. And, you know, if you can find a concept that gets you jazzed, just like make a fish, make a piece of coral, anything, just to get you going. So, yeah. Yeah, Shon. Oh man, there are some artists that completely annihilate me, put me to shame. Everybody's on their own journey though. You can't be looking at everybody else's work. I mean, I know it's hard to say, but you should be on your own journey, and what you should be looking at is what you did yesterday and see if it's better than you did yesterday, and keep moving forward at your own pace, your own skill set, and you know, you're on your own treadmill. You can't be looking at, you know, the guy or girl next to you and just be like, why are you so good? I'll never be that good. Yeah. Yeah, Lucky, I loved that you did Blocktober. That was, I might steal it from you. Is that okay? Because I love that you did that. It's just, don't you feel like October 30th, you were way, way better than you were October 1st. And I could see it. I know you were, but just did you feel it personally going through that whole exercise? Okay. Yeah, you'll just destroy yourself from the inside out if you constantly compare yourself to other artists. So there's blocktober is something that Lucky came up with and he did on his own, where he did a block out every single day of a character, every single day. And he found some awesome old cartoon characters from like Laugh Olympics and, you know, just really, really cool characters. And then he would just block it out every single day. Boom, here's another one. Boom, here's another one. And yeah, he just got it, you know, really good. Sculpt. I like Sculpt January, but it's kind of Ryan Kingsland's thing, and there's not really. I mean, I think we were having the Creature Box student challenge at the same time, so we couldn't really participate in that. Okay, so you guys, let me let's. I love yapping to you guys about all this stuff, but let's get going on this guy before we get too much further. We've already yapped for 17 minutes here. So what I want to start doing today is I want to start retopologizing this guy. Okay. And I talked to Brendan. Brendan Isaiah Bankston is his full name. If you want to look him up, he's another streamer on, the Pixelogic live streams, and he works at Crystal Dynamics, and he does some fantastic texture work and modeling work for that matter. He's a good friend of mine. I hang out with him every year at the Zbrush Summit. He's fantastic. And he's going to help us out as far as getting this guy textured the way I would like to see him textured, because I don't have as much experience in doing that as Brendan does. So he said he would be good for an interview, so I want to ask him about his career and how he got to where he is. And then he's going to review this guy as I build him and kind of help me get him set up to be the best he can be as far as getting ready to go into Substance Painter. And then we've been talking back and forth about how to get him textured. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to kind of be learning along with you guys. And one of the things he said, I know we talked about putting everything for the character into one texture set, like one 4K map. That's how I did the Zenyatta skin, is in one 4K map. But for this guy, I'm gonna break him up a little bit. So I'm gonna do one map for the sword and the sheath. So that's gonna be its own thing, okay? And then I'm gonna do another one for all of the armor and everything, his gloves, his boots, everything. And then one more for his face. So I'm going to do a different one just for his face. It might be a 2K map instead of a 4K map. We'll see. So the Sculpt January is Zacharias Reinhardt's deal. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was a Ryan Kingsland deal. Sculpt Timber. There's always something, right? Sculpt. I don't know. I need to come up with something, right? oh goodness. Okay. Excuse me. I like Blocktober though. It's good. It's good. All right. Oh, thanks you guys. Let's see. Measuring my work by work in progress shots over several months reduces the DPS to my self-esteem dramatically. Right, Stu? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Sculpt. You can come up with anything. Sculptologist. I don't even know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to retopologize this guy into parts. I'm going to go a little bit away from bringing, you know, in the main workshop itself, I took Kate, the entire character, over into 3D Coat and retopped her entire character. Well, I did a couple pieces, but I want to show you that you can do pieces, like separate pieces, and bring them over there, retop it, bring it back, that kind of stuff. So since I retopologized the hand inside of Maya, I think I'm going to retopologize this in 3D Coat again, because like I said, I prefer 3D Coat. It's just, I love that program. If Retop Master, is it called Retop Master? there's an add-on for Blender, but it only works in 2.7 something. Retopoflow, that's what it's called, Retopoflow. So if Retopoflow was available and I knew Blender a little better, I'd probably retopologize in Blender just because I want to learn it and try it. But for now, I think 3D Coat's going to be our friend for this one. And today I wanted to retopologize his pants. And I know we talked about sewing stuff together, right? Where is it going to get sewn? And make sure that everything is watertight so you can sew it together. And I talked to Brendan. He said he typically doesn't sew everything together on next gen models because they just have too much going on. So what he does is he will overlap things. And for example, and we're going to do the same thing, but for example, this is what I'm thinking about as far as retopologized chunks with this guy, okay? I'm going to include the boots, the pants, and these straps, and that is one chunk. And I'm going to end it at the top underneath this, this leather skirt thing, okay? Then another chunk I'm going to do is I'm going to do his chainmail, his big chest plate, the chainmail right here, and the skirt. And that's another chunk. So another chunk will be the hands with these bracers included. So I will stitch these bracers onto his arms, and then I'll take the arms up inside the chainmail probably to about here, and that'll be another chunk. And then I'm going to retopologize. I've actually kind of already have retopologized these shoulder hats, these pauldrons, and we're going to we're going to retopologize these, and then I'm going to make the face its own separate thing, and then it's his eyes, teeth, and tongue. They're all separate as well. So you meant to ask why there's any particular reason why the hand retopo was done in Maya. Yes, because I wanted to show you guys it does not matter where you do your retopology. It's whatever you're used to, whatever works the best for you. I could have done it 3D Studio Max or Modo or Topogun. You know, there's so many programs out there that do retopology. It's just kind of a personal preference depending on what you want to use and where you want to retopo. Me personally, I just like 3D Coat because it just fits my the way I like to work, I guess. So and it's just fast and it has the tools that I like. So, but I will. Yeah, I'm gonna use 3D Coat for this guy if that's okay with you. Does the hair go with the face or by itself? I think I might do the hair. You know what? I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I haven't decided if I want to combine it yet or not. And because I might try and do real-time hair, you know, on hair cards or something for fun, because I haven't done that in the course. The purpose of this guy is looking for stuff to teach you that I haven't taught in the workshop yet. So I'm looking for opportunities to show you kind of beyond what I've already taught. So maybe with the hair we'll do some real time, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Daniel, I love ZBrush too. I just don't like to retopologize in ZBrush. I wish I did. I wish there were better tools in there. The retopology tools or the topology brush right here is really nice for small things, like creating small items, like these bracers, for example. It works perfect for that. But to retopologize an entire character would be maddening for me, personally. It's not there yet. Sirloin of steak formation. Oh. You guys. All right. So let me see. The legs and the boots. I want these together. So I'm going to hide everything that's not what I want. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to retopologize in one chunk. You vote for hair cards? Okay. Okay, because I know, yeah, Mike Black, he went through, I don't know if Mike's here, he went through his own kind of challenges with hair cards. But he did a fantastic job. So, yeah, I'll do some hair cards. There's just enough hair that he has that I think it would work. It would work pretty good with him without me, because hair cards are tedious. They can be, I mean, just ask Mike, right? They're crazy tedious. And because you're essentially moving cards, like I don't know, it reminds me of making like scale mail or something, one piece at a time. Just it's yeah, it's tedious. That's all I can say. Okay, so I just want to double check this and make sure that we have everything ready to go. It looks like I haven't added thickness to this toe. So hair cards and floating geo for baking are high on my to learn list. So Stu, what do you mean by, oh, float, like floaters, right? Floaters? Okay. Right. So I need to add a little bit of detail to these, but I don't necessarily need the detail on there to do retopology with. And I do need to do that floating geometry lesson for you guys. Okay, so let me add thickness to these. They're just thin right now. So extrude, polygroup all, and we're going to push this in, which is it's going to make the normals be flipped. And you can't see it because double is turned on. If I turn double off, you can see flip normals. Like those guys that call themselves flip normals. Normal map. Oh, sorry. Display properties and then flip. Okay, we got that. Okay, and I'm just going to I want to just put let me see what it looks like actually dynamically subdivided on the boot. That doesn't look too bad actually. Sometimes you want a nice tight crease and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Okay. So I'm just going to push that so it has the same thickness all the way around here. Then I kind of want to do the same thing to these. Maybe not. I do want to apply the dynamic subdivisions, add some more, and then smooth them down so they're not so crispy, but not that fast. Okay, maybe one more subdivision level. So we're now sitting at 36,000 points. Whoop. Now at 147,000 points because I keep subdividing. And I'm just going to smooth these down just to knock that sharpness off of them. Is this part of the same? No, that's why. Like, why aren't these spurs losing their sharpness too? Come on. Select it. It's not letting me select the... There it goes. Okay. And apply. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? Yeah, we're just talking about you. And hair cards, and your hair card adventures. Should make a book. Mike Black's hair card adventures. Okay, so that's looking a little better. Let's see. And then I'm going to apply it to these. Subdivide it some more. And then same with this one, apply, subdivide one time, and then let's see, maybe twice, because I do want to knock again, just knock the sharpness off of there. Okay. And then these straps, I want to look at these straps a little closer because I think I want the bends to not be so smooth. Oh yeah, do type yeah, hashtag mermaid into Pinterest. You'll find. So this is the 3rd year it's been happening. It's been going on, and so that's well, that's two years of past concept. And then, you know, this year it's already started. And yeah, there's some awesome ones. Okay, so Z modeler, I'm just going to cut in some edge loops a little closer to the ends here. That way when I subdivide, it will make the corners a little more square. So the mermaid started in 2017. So I'm going to cut this right there. Okay, so now they look more like squarish straps. And you'll notice from the top, instead of like making them bridge that gap, I actually kind of push them in because, well, two reasons. I want to print this, so you don't want to have any air behind those straps, and I want to bake it. And for both those reasons, it's better to make it wrong as far as reality goes, you know, having the strap actually work. It's better to have it wrong and filled in right there. That's called watertight, so there's no air. It's better to have that than to have it be realistic. Now, in films, I've been told the opposite. It's better to have it more realistic, and then each piece is its own piece because you're not going to 3D print it and you're not going to bake it. So, oh yeah, Brian Kessinger. Oh yeah. Oh man, Donna, you know what? I feel bad because Brian really wanted me to sculpt his Halloween pumpkin guy, and I was busy and I couldn't do it, and I feel so bad because that design is just crazy good, and I wanted to do it, but I couldn't. I hate turning work down. I mean, yeah, it's a nice thing because you can turn work down, you know, that's nice, but because you're too busy to do it. But I hate it because when a good concept like that comes around, you just don't want to turn it down, you know? Okay, I'm going to import reference. And I'm just going to pull this texture into the spotlight. So I just want to look at these little straps have tiny little rivets on them. And I want to make sure, I just want to put those in there really quick. In case I want to support them with geometry. I don't think I want to, but I do want to have them there just in case. And since I've added subdivisions on here, I'm going to have to duplicate this subtool, because insert multi-mesh will not work on something that's been subdivided. Somebody, and I don't know if they're here, somebody just barely asked about this message when they were trying to draw topology, said it wouldn't work because this mesh is composed of multiple subdivision levels. Whenever you get that message, the best way around it is to duplicate that subtool. So duplicate, and then select it. So it looks like we're on it, and then get rid of the lower subdivision levels. So then you can just go to geometry, and it doesn't even have to be the lower subdivision levels, because you know, if you don't want to bog your machine down if you have a piece that you're duplicating that has really high subdivision levels, because as soon as you get rid of the lower subdivision levels, then it's going to take a toll on your computer, because the way ZBrush works, it's better to have multiple levels of subdivision rather than have the highest and get rid of all the ones underneath, because it's calculating the subdivision based on the lowest one. So you'll have way higher performance. We talked about that in one of the Q&A sessions, the past Q&A sessions. So what I can do is I can roll this down to the lowest subdivision level and then hit delete higher, and then see if I solo it. I have these now that I got rid of the subdivision levels. And sometimes what I like to do is hit Control W to put all of these in one poly group, and I'll show you why in a minute. But now what I can do is drag out what are going to be the rivets. Let's turn on local symmetry, and then squish them into the surface here. I want them just to peek out enough. I don't want the curve, so let me see if I can explain this. Again, 3D printing, I just have this mindset of, will it pull out of a mold in my head? Will this pull out of a mold, right? So if I have this rivet, James, is it really? I'm not going to look around. I'm not going to turn around. Okay, hold on. There's a... So if I have the rivet out here like this, you can see that the surface of this rivet... Whoops. Okay, hold on. Select lasso. Come on. There you go. Okay. I need to save this really quick just to make sure. Okay, so you can see the surface of this rivet has an undercut right now. So you can see as it goes down and then it undercuts right there. See that? Like right here. So what you want to do is you want to sink this rivet into the surface enough so there's no undercut. So now if you look at it, it comes down and just goes like that. No undercut. So if this was going to pull out of a mold, boink, it would pull right out. Otherwise, that rivet would get hooked into the mold and it wouldn't come out of the mold, or else you'd break the button right off, if that makes sense. So, so there's also an X-Wing, so I hope the X-Wing will take care of that TIE fighter. My uncle, I have an uncle that's a year older than me. So he lives down in the southern part of Utah, and he was living with my grandma. My grandma is still alive. She's 90. She's 96, and they just moved her. They just moved her into a retirement home that is really super duper nice. She has her own apartment and kitchen and all that kind of stuff. Really nice. It's not like the, scary homes, but and he was living with her for a while, and he had his stuff there, and he moved out because he got married, moved out, and he still had his stuff there. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this stuff, so he gave it to me. And this was a TIE fighter from the late 70s, early 80s, along with the X-Wing fighter. And he also gave me this Yoda right here. You guys see this Yoda? He's turned to the side. Hold on. My son put my hat on him, so it's hard to see him, but he's right here. So he was a big Star Wars fan, and he just gave me that stuff. Oh man. Yeah, you can kind of see the X-Wing back there. Anyway, so they're old, I was thinking about maybe repainting them or something. Yeah, it's essentially a life-size Yoda. It is. It's like, yeah. I was thinking about maybe making a mold off of him and turn him into an actual puppet, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how ambitious I am. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to duplicate it off, move it down here, and do the same thing. Just kind of turn the camera to the side and push it into the surface on all sides so it doesn't have that overhang. Push it down in a little bit. Well, that's not all. Hold on. Yeah, that Sonic the Hedgehog is horrible. It's horrible. Now these aren't in their own packages, but they're old Star Wars toys from the late 70s, early 80s. He gave me all of these too, which are super cool. So this is Chewbacca, and there's C-3PO and R2-D2. All the a whole bunch of it's in this box. So that's pretty cool. I need to set them all up when I'm going to be moving to a new place and a new office at the end of summer. So I'll set them all up after I get that all ready to go. Yeah, original. They're the original. Pretty crazy, huh? Yeah, show and tell. Hey, look at my toys, guys. Want to come play? Okay, now that I have these rivets in place, what I want to do is I want to get rid of what I drew them on. So I don't need the bands anymore because I already have them because I duplicated them. So I'm going to hide them and then hit delete hidden. Oh yeah, my little brother's 10 years younger than me, and he still has all of his old turtles. They're super cool. Even the van, the pizza van. Remember the pizza van? Okay. There we go. There's the rivets. I'm going to color them the same color, I think, as... Let's... make them like a darker... Maybe like a dark green? Let me see. There we go. Looks pretty good. So, one toy I loved that I might get another one eventually, but I had two of my favorite toys. One was a Muppet that was Animal. Do you guys remember Animal? I had a working animal, like he was a real puppet, and his eyebrows would go up and down and stuff. Really cool. And then I had a Inspector Gadget that was like this tall, and he came with all his accessories, like his umbrella and all sorts of stuff. And you push a button on his back, and his head would spring up, and another button would make his legs shoot out. And yeah, really cool. His fists would shoot off like weapons and stuff. It was really cool. And yeah, I ended up going away in a garage sale or something like that, you know, after I'd moved out. So I wish I still had that one. That was pretty cool. Okay, now we're to this point. Let's yeah, Animal. Okay, now that we have this, I'm going to save it again. And basically, I want to export what's showing. That's how FBX works, the way I taught it in the workshop. Okay, I want to look at these bands one more time. This is just me being like super nitpicky about... See, I want the bands to have an edge all the way around here. So another friend of mine, David Bedreau, if you guys... I talk about him in the workshop too. He's a fantastic caricature artist, and he also builds puppets, and he builds them like he built a White Walker animal, and it's the coolest thing ever. Oh yeah, the Ghostbusters and Firehouse, awesome. Oh really, Sean? Oh, it's crazy. Okay. Okay, so let's I'm going to pop this open right here because I in my custom user interface, I mounted the Z plugin menu over on the left-hand side. So it's in that shelf. If you double click it, it's in there. And that is where the FBX exporter is located. And you want to have this button selected, which is visible, because I want to export just the visible items so I can then retopologize them. And then make sure you're on like FBX 2014. I know a lot of students get hung up on this because actually the more recent FBX plugin does not work. It just doesn't work. So you have to roll it back just by clicking through here. So it goes up to 16 and then 14. 14 works, 16 does not. So be on 16 and then hit the good old export. And then I'm going to go and I usually make a new folder and call it FBX, FBXs. See, I have OBJs, ZTLs, FBXs, and then save it out in here. I'm just going to leave it whatever stupid name I called it, it was just automated. Okay, so now I'm letting it do its thing, export it all. Okay, it just said file exported. So now what I want to do is go open up 3D Coat. And I have 3D Coat on Steam. So let me launch this thing. Pro license. 3D Coat's so strange sometimes because they give you this list of licenses. I'm like, I never know which one to pick. Okay. So what I like to do is import for vertex painting big reference. And then I'll go grab that. Where are you? Student only live stream. There we go. FBXs, and grab this guy. Hopefully it can handle it when we bring it in here. There it is. Came in here pretty smooth. And here's our list. This is called the voxel tree. I don't know why they call it the voxel tree, but that's what it is. And we can go over to Retopo right here. Whoa, okay. Oh, really, Alfie? I have not seen those. That sounds awesome. Okay, so I want to adjust this this ambient light and the contrast. Let me see. And you can also adjust the light angle by clicking right here. I wish it was just a little bit lighter, not that bright, but I just being able to see it very well. Okay, so now what I want to do is it's been a while since I've done any sort of retopology in here. So bear with me. So I'm on add split and I'm just going to start working this out. Okay, I don't want to be on add split. I want to be on points and faces. That's where I usually start. And then I just start going to town adding these points and faces. So if you guys watched the hand retopology lesson that I just posted recently, you can see a big difference between retopologizing in Maya versus retopologizing here. The biggest difference is I just imported several meshes inside of with an FBX inside of 3D Coat. And you can do that inside of Maya, but it's going to chunk out a little bit. Like it's going to make it slower because Maya doesn't handle as many polygons as well as 3D Coat does. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have to make your reference mesh live. You have to turn it into a live reference mesh. And what that means is if you're retopologizing something and you're combining everything into one thing, then you have to actually merge all of those meshes together into one thing and make it live, right? As far as 3D Coat goes, I still have access to this whole list of my reference meshes, and I can turn them on and off at will to show and hide them as I'm retopologizing so they don't get in my way, if that makes sense. So that's kind of one big advantage. Thanks, Shon. Yeah, you've been retopologizing here a lot lately, so I appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, S is symmetry. Shon, my wingman. Okay, so whoops. I want to hit the x-axis, which will give me this big red plane. And now whenever I make a quad on this right-hand side, it will make it on the left-hand side. Okay. So sometimes I like to start, it doesn't matter where you start, honestly, but what I like to do is just like when I was building those fingers, is I like to do a top, a bottom, a left, and a right, which will give me 4 dots, right? So here we go with the 4 dots. And this one's kind of tricky. Sometimes what I will do is I will delete 1/2 of the model. Like if I'm doing legs or something like that, inside of ZBrush, I will duplicate, I'll save off a whole new file, and I will actually physically delete 1/2 of the character. Like if I'm working on the leg and his right leg's going to be in the way of me retopologizing, I will just delete it and get it out of there. Just bring in one leg and retopologize that. And then take it into like something like Modo or Maya and mirror it and stitch it back together. Even inside of ZBrush, it works just fine. It doesn't matter. It just, yeah, Shon, you're really used to 3D Coat now, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter where, how you do it. It's just going through the process of it. So make, the old saying goes like work smarter, not harder, right? So try and get things out of your way if it's going to be in your way. Okay, and then what I like to do is just, again, divide these like this. So I'm just putting one in the middle of the dots that I made, right? So now I have that. And then I can just start making boxes as I go down. And the reason I like to make one strip first is, oh, come on, is just so I can kind of gauge what it's going to look like if I'm going to have enough polys going all the way around there. Oops, come on. I don't know why it's not giving me my quads. starts to. Where is it? Is my brush too small? You might have to remind me, Shon. Trying to remember. I've been working in Maya for too long now, so coming back here is like, I'm lost. I'm gonna move these points. You can move the points around with this brush too. Before you can do it before or after you make the quads. Let's add split. There, okay, there it goes. Is it not working because you send in half your mesh in 3D coat when you're done, turn on symmetry and weld the points? It's true. So remember, so I'm trying to make these quads, and it might be because I'm working on the wrong side. Let's try it. No. Why? Trying to remember what, isn't it control that I hold down to make these thinking things work? Oh, right. You can just right click and move them. So, gosh dang it. I can do it in quads. But what is the hotkey to make a quad? Why can't I remember this? I'll have to wait for Sean's answer in 20 seconds. Okay, let's see. Add faces with right, yeah, right mouse button. Okay. Force triangles with shift. Check symmetry if virtual symmetry is on. Where do you do that? Sorry, guys. No, shift is in Maya. That's how it works in Maya. That's what I was trying to do. So the quads don't resolve. Yeah, Thomas. See, it starts to. Yeah. So it's behind there. It's right click. It's right click to make a face. But it's not giving me the quad. I don't know what the heck's up with this. You know what? We might end up going to Maya anyway. It's quad draw. No, points and faces should do it. What is going on? Sorry, guys. Points and faces. Give it to me. Okay, Thomas. In the symmetry menu, file, edit, view, etc. What if I reset it? Or I'm going to turn it off for a minute. I'm going to just turn it off and see if it works. Yeah, it's still not working. So it should be giving me, you know how it indicates like with the blue lines across here when I make a face? Like that. Okay, there it goes. That brought it back. Now it's working. Jeez Louise. It's too hot this time of year for 3D coat, for sure. Man, okay. Delete that guy. Okay, looks like it's working. All right. You ran into that as well? Okay. So it's not just me, huh? That's good. Z bias. Okay. This is one thing I think I think I teach this in the course, but with the Z bias you can push it off of the surface so you can actually see what you're doing. Yeah, super weird, super strange. So I think if I turn on, there we go, enable symmetry again, it comes back. That's really bizarre. But thanks for your patience, you guys. So yes, for 3D code, it's right click. For Maya, it's shift. You hold down shift. Man, this is being buggy. It's like it's kind of chunking out on me. Like when I go to rotate it, it pauses for a second. That's weird. This might not be enough geometry. What is R-fill? Is that new? What's R-fill, Shon? I haven't been in here for a while. You blame the Steam version, Shon? I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, see, I can't see how I'm like trying to look up in here and the legs in the way. Okay. Let's just move on. We're just gonna do it. I know, dude. It's in ZBrush is the worst for that. It's the worst. You know how people say, "Oh, it's just like getting back on a bike or whatever," right? And no, ZBrush you can forget easy, even after working in it for years. You can just be like, "What was I? How does this program work again?" I keep wanting to hold down shift, you guys. Shift. I might have to add more geometry here. You can also use this slide edges tool to slide them if you need to put these in between like this. Oh, that's right. Go to camera and set it to rotate around current pick point. That's right. Thanks, man. Gee, Shon, maybe you need to be doing this one. Okay. I think I need to slide these because I can't get in there. There it goes. Maybe slide these edges. Okay. Now, Shon, did you say you could move these in point faces mode? Like move, oh yeah, by right clicking. There you go. That's right. So then I don't have to go to brush. I can just move them one point at a time. That's good. Stay in 3D code, okay. I know. Sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, F it, I'm out. All right. I won't noodle with this too much. But so now what I do is sometimes I'll just go all the way down here. So this is my front poly right here, right? I'll go all the way down and make a quad like that. I know it's super silly and weird. Count to 10. Just breathe. You got this. Just like on the fingers, I'll make just these giant quads. And it does take a little bit of guesswork, and sometimes it doesn't go all the way like this. So you have to grab quads and do it manually, which is fine too. It's probably easier than putting points down. Quads are fun. Okay, there we go. Then what you can do is go back to points faces and then just hold down Control and you cut in lines like this and it will snap to the surface. And then before I get too much further, I want to even out these. I am going to use the brush for this. Just because I can move multiple at the same time and just kind of... And I can also hold down shift to even them out. And like I said, I was starting to talk about this on the hand retop, is in 3D Coat, the smoothing or relax is screen based, which means whatever direction your camera is facing, it's going to spread or relax those points out away from that camera. And inside of Maya, it's surface based rather than screen based. So yeah, I think I prefer surface based better. It's just more predictable. Okay, I'm looking for, this is the line that's going down the side. So I'm looking for that guy. And I can relax these. He does have a messed up posture. Go get that looked at, sirloin. Okay, so let's go back to points and faces. See how much easier that was, and now I can just kind of cut these in like this. But sometimes it'll dip down into the surface. You just got to be careful and check it. And then this one is going to need an extra one because that's where the pant cuff changes direction. Right there. And what I want to do, I'm trying to decide if I want to just have these straps be in the normal maps only or have them be modeled in. And I think I'm going to model them in because I think they're breaking the silhouette enough. And I really don't have that many points right here. So I'm going to model them in. So I'm just going to go around here by hand and just kind of line them up. I'm going to change this bias just a little bit so it shrinks back into the mesh so I can see it a little bit better. So you can kind of see where that surface changes, where the plane changes as I grab this. Can you see it's on this surface, then it goes to the corner, and then it starts walking out. So I want it to be right up in that corner. Then I'm putting this line right on the inside of this band. So when I put another band around it, it's going to snap to the outside of that belt. Okay. And I can do it to the bottom too. So you can see it just kind of pop down there. Looks like I have a little bit of, no I don't. I don't know. That was kind of an illusion. It looked like there was a little bit of space underneath that belt. Looks like there is a little bit. So I should probably fix that. Back in the high resolution ZBrush model. Yeah, you can see some space there. Okay, so let me cut in another one like right on the border of this guy and right on the border of that one. Doesn't look like it popped. So I think I'm going to cut it here and then slide it. Sometimes it doesn't want to stick to the edges if the geometry is too thin. So let me change the bias a little bit more. Okay. Hey, what's up, Wayne? Yeah, it's having a hard time snapping. I'm going to undo this, actually. I'm going to go back to where I'm going to do the opposite and float these up on top of here and then cut them and go down in. Sometimes you got to do that. It's just the surface bias doesn't always work. See See, it's not doing it right here. It's not popping up on the surface because the geometry is too thin right there. So it doesn't know which surface to pop to. So does this, Sean, does this, are you talking about the Z bias? Does it affect the snapping too? I know it affects how far off the surface it is, but I don't know if it affects the, like this, the actual snapping itself. Oh, come on. Sorry, it's taking forever. That's what retop is. Takes forever. I'm pushing points. I kind of want to just normal map these in there. But there's too much space. There's too much offset to do that. It does affect the snapping? Okay. I did not know that. Okay, I'm going to try and cut in. There we go. Just do something like this. Slide these edges up. Cut in another one. I think I'm going to have to cut in some this direction later. Just, I don't know if there's enough geometry to hold that information. So I might have to make a, right now it's 8 spans going all the way around the leg. I might have to increase it to 10 or 12. Something like that. Okay, for this boot, I think I'm going to walk a line up above and around and try and follow that around. Let's see, right after I adjust these. And what I'm trying to do with this edge is I'm just trying to make it catch that silhouette because you have to think about the envelope and how the envelope is going to catch the high resolution mesh in there and make it look decent. So it's kind of better to have it on an angle like this right here. This one's actually bad, but this angle to catch as it goes up and around. And then still kind of support the silhouette. Just nudging, nudging, nudging over and over. Okay. So I wonder how I kind of want to take this into Maya and see how the snapping bias is in Maya in Quad Draw. 12 to 16 spans to get it to work correctly. 8's usually too low for the program. Yeah. I might just cut that in right now. So I'm going to put one right here. And then maybe right here. And then slide the rest around. I think I might do 2 more actually, just to have enough. Okay, and then I can just slide edges. You hold control and you slide the entire thing around. Just try and make squares. Okay. So let me grab this guy. See how it's not snapping very well to that surface? I mean, it looks like it when you go around the back, but that curve is poking so far through. It's kind of having a hard time. I don't want to turn on symmetry. Go away. Okay. I'm just going to relax these a little bit and see if it snaps better. Oh yeah, starting with 16, then go back down. Yeah. Just kind of having it. Okay, so with this one, I want, like I said, I want to kind of follow the curvature of this. So I'll put in a span and then use the brush to nudge it around. Sometimes I like to actually use the pen. It's much faster to go through here, nudge things around. Turn that bias down a little bit. See, it's still not snapping very well. I don't know why it's not wanting to snap to that surface. I keep wanting to do ZBrush navigation too. The messed up ZBrush navigation. And then again, just kind of let it follow this contour of the boot right here. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's snapping. Well, the boot, this boot is wrapped like 3 times. So it has the leg and then the wrap and then this wrap. And they're all thin, so it's wanting to like, it doesn't know which one to snap to. So that one's not even moving. There it goes. See, it looks like it's clear down inside the leg. I don't even know what's going on with that. Just snap to it, yo. Another thing you can do too, which works really well, is if you get all of this really close, you can bring it back into ZBrush and you can do a project, and it will actually project and bring the points to the surface and kind of rework it, because projection inside of ZBrush is better at snapping the points in here. Sometimes I don't know why it's not wanting to snap to that leg. Ooh. Oh, make the large quads then split. You never do it that way. You think that's what's going on with that? Is because I made the large quads? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I've not had issues with that before. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna delete a couple of these and just see if I can, if I redraw them, if it has a better time snapping to the surface. Because maybe you're onto something, Shon. So let me try it. Even though I'm hooking, yeah, that's it. Look at that. So this is snapping right on the surface. Gosh dang it. All right, well, I wish there was a way, maybe you know, Shon, if there's a way to delete mass polys without just tapping like crazy. Sorry guys, you get to see me struggle. I guess I can just paint them out. Okay, cool. Do over. Yay! I know, I know, I know. I'm gonna do this one more. This last row. Sorry, guys. Well, we learned something today. Together. I'll try and hurry. Oh, Mike, possibly. But I do think Sean's right. I do think it has to do with, whoops. What in the world? What did I do? I just switched this to like flat color. Ugh, gosh, 3D coat's not working for me today. Hey, what's up, Robert? Oh, geez. If you slide an edge, it just snaps to the surface, no problem. So the big polygon method works there. Yeah, it works in Maya too. It's just a 3D coat's giving me grief. Why? 3. Did I accidentally hit 3? There it goes. Okay. Oh gosh. It's my first day. Sorry. Oh, man. See, when I started the stream, I said, you guys, it feels like a Monday. Yeah. Wonder why. This is what I want to do. Like this. Thanks, Allison. Look at that guy hanging out under there. Get out of there. There's another one. This is how we feel all the time. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you struggle like this. You're like, what am I supposed to be doing? What's happening? Yep, it happens, guys. Just got to work through the pain and the struggle and figure it out, what's happening and why is it happening, and try something else. Sometimes you have to rewind and do it again. Wabbit season. Yeah. What is this? What is this program again? How does this work? Jeez. So have you guys ever used Retopoflow in Blender? Tell me if you have or not. Because that program looks, or that add-on looks great. But I don't know how it works with the surface bias as well. Retopology can be therapeutic once you get in there and you're like puzzling, but it can also be frustrating. You're just like, why? Like this? Like, why? Just get in there. Just make the dang quad. No head to toe? No. Like I was explaining earlier in the stream, basically you can topologize in parts. You don't need to bring the entire character in and do it. So this is a chunk, and if you watch this back, I explained the chunks that I'm doing as far as how I'm splitting it up and why, like what regions or portions. Okay. We're getting there. Thanks for your patience. Just watching me retop. It's like watching paint dry. This is why I time lapse it in the workshop. Because I figured you guys didn't want to watch me do this real time. But then people complained and said, hey, you're doing time lapses. I want to see every second that you're doing the thing. So I said, okay, let's do a live stream. John, so what was the the cause for why it originally would not snap, and how was the issue addressed? So that's a great question. What happened was I made gigantic polygons that spanned across the entire leg from top to bottom, all the way from up here all the way down to the ankle. That's how I usually do it, and I actually describe how to do that in Maya, because it's just easier to go, I'm going to make all the polygons reach all the way from like a wrist to a shoulder right here. Then what you can do is just cut them with a ring like this, right? You just cut them with a ring all the way down, and it's much faster to do it that way, more efficient, and then you can just slide the rings around and make them match and make them quads, rather than, this is what I call walking the topology down the leg, which is less efficient. So I would rather do it the way I started, but with 3D Coat, what happens is the surface, it won't snap to the surface, because since it wasn't originally drawn on the surface, it doesn't know which surface to snap to, because there are several surfaces here that it's dealing with, because we have the straps and we have the leg and we have the overlapping leather down here in the boot, and it just wasn't understanding or wasn't finding the surface that it needed to snap to. So yeah, I struggled with that for a while, and then our good pal Shon is like, hey, it doesn't work that way in 3D Coat, but it does work that way in Maya from my experience, for the most part. So we just rewound it, deleted the polygons, and now we're crawling down the leg instead, which is okay. It's another way to do it. I had to build a new computer after I tried to retop the first time. Ariel, I'm sorry I'm late. Shane, do you talk about try limits for this? No, I haven't yet. I think when I get them all put together, I will, I'll do I'll try and organize the polys and see where I could make it more efficient here and there. But right now, we're just kind of walking down. This is usually I'll do it 18 span, but this is a 12 span down his leg because there wasn't enough going across. And as an answer for those questions, like how many spans should I do around the leg? It depends on the project. I know I sound like a broken record when I say that. It depends on the project, and it depends on other characters that are in the same scene with this character. It depends on how close the character is going to be to the camera. I'm going to be acting as if this guy is going to be like the main character in a game. So I don't want him extremely high, but I want him to be high enough that it's not apparent, like the polygons aren't apparent when he's close. That's all you want. So I'm kind of fashioning him after, or basing him on, like, say, a Blizzard character. I really, really wanted to show you guys that Blizzard skin that I made, but under NDA regulations, I couldn't. I can't show you that. So instead, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. I'm just going to essentially make an Overwatch skin that's not an Overwatch skin. That's kind of the goal of this. But I want to take him into substance and also show you that kind of workflow as well. So should be good. Okay. And like I said, same with the hands. The goal of this whole thing is just to keep it as quadded out as possible. Like, just keep it in squares as much as you can. Okay. And I am going to cut a line on his knee right here, because that's where it's going to bend. And you see it actually sunk in right here where the back of his knee is. And that's good. Okay, so now that I'm walking these quads down, it's going to be a little easier to stick it to the edge, not to the edge of this boot as it goes up, like this, as the spiral goes up. And then I'll make another one come out onto this edge. And when I'm laying down these dots, what I'm looking for is like how the curve travels along the surface. So I'm kind of looking for it to splay out as it goes out and around like this. So if you look at it from the camera, this line looks like I should put it right here, but instead I'm splaying it so it's going to go over here, if that makes sense, because it's radial. Okay, come on, get in there. There you go. Sometimes you shouldn't put two dots down next to each other. Okay, when it gets to something like this, this is an opportunity where I could put in a triangle if I wanted to. Maybe even two. So, you see. And you can hold down Shift to force a triangle. Like that. And like that. See, that's just a good place for a triangle to be. And that's okay. And it's okay. Now we're inside a boot. Yeah, there isn't anything wrong with walking, but when you know, it just comes back to that whole work smarter, not harder thing. If you can get your retopology done a little quicker, then why not? Kind of a thing, you know? And I'm going to end this loop in a triangle as well. There we go. Rather than trying to stretch a quad around here, which would actually break that symmetry and make it too straight. You want to look for opportunities like that. And even another triangle here. That's pushing it a little bit. So I might pull this out just a bit more. Okay. Is everyone's eyes kind of glossing over? That's what I picture. It's just like, oh, this is killing me. Come on. Give me a quad. So if you come into something like this and it's just not giving you the quad, just grab this quads button and grab an edge and just go pop, pop, and that'll give you what you want. You can also walk down with quads like this rather than putting in dots. And sometimes it works a little easier, sometimes not. Again, it's a personal preference. Okay, come on, camera. I guess it's kind of like watching one of those craft videos where they're making like a diorama or something. I get transfixed to those, but they're time lapsed, you know, so it's not like watching paint dry as much. Well, I'm glad, Elfie. I can make you feel better. Yes, I don't show the struggle, but I guess I should. Okay, so this one's going to be a little interesting because it bends right here, and I want that bend. So I think what I'm going to do is put a triangle right here and come across right here, and then I'm going to put a quad. Oh, that didn't snap. And that didn't snap. Let's try it again. I guess that'd make it a good drinking game, right? I guess we'll make that. Sometimes it'll make a triangle when you don't want it. Like if I try and put a dot here, see that? There's a dot here. And then I go to do that. It's going to take it away. It's just going to say, you know what? We're going to put a triangle here, whether you want to or not. Thanks, 3D Coat. You're my best friend. Okay. So we'll fix that here in a minute. I wish I could go a little faster on these quads, but sometimes they don't quite snap to the existing points. So you have to be kind of cautious with it. Yes, Ariel, it's officially started. Did you get the email? So if you want to bust one out today, even while you're listening to me go on and on, that'd be great. Sculpt while we sculpt, while we retop. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this straighter. Okay, 2. There we go. See how our retopology is looking fairly decent now? That's what you want to do, is zoom out and kind of take a look and say, okay, is this looking like even quads? Can I get these any more square than they already are? And scaling as it goes up and down and around the parts is okay. Yep. You have fun. Don't panic. If you can't get one in today, that's okay. Just the whole goal of the thing is to work on it when you can. Just make as many speed sculpts during the month as you can, and you're not going to be judged on how many you get done or anything like that. That wouldn't be fair. Okay. Oh, you get to finally see it? Awesome. Yep, it's great. Enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Okay. So now, yep, it's a total puzzle. And even though this corner is round, I don't have to make it round in my low resolution mesh. That's kind of the myth that we're dealing with here. I am going to cut. Let me try this. Okay, I think that'll work. And then I'm going to come down here. Sculpt January was tough. Well, these are just speed sculpts, them. Just not crazy. Don't go crazy. They're speed sculpts. They're for fun. It's like a sketchbook, you know, a sketchbook. When you're drawing in a, when you have just a, what are those called? What's the name of them? Where like a skin or something. What, I can't remember. Okay, I'm gonna undo that, and I want to cut this band in half because I want to go up and over it. Like this. Let me see. You're still working on your sculpt, January sculpts. That's all right. Let me see. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this, actually. Sorry, I'm looking at it kind of being slow. I might pull this out and get rid of this cut and do what I was going to do before, but I just want to capture I'm trying to capture this this band in the envelope as I bake, so I'm going to pull it out and make it like beveled instead. Like that. And this is going to be super tricky too, going around this. But I think because it's too thick to just put in the normal map, so I'm actually going to have to go out and around it. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. I need to make it into a triangle, I think. Yeah. Come on, give me a triangle. Let's go quads. Now, when you have quads, to make a triangle, you just double click on the line and it'll make a triangle for you. And that right click move also works with quads. Yeah. Yeah, same with the theater. We went and saw it in IMAX. It was great. I took my son. Okay. Whoop. Yeah, sewing, puzzling, puzzling. Come on. There you go. I knew you want it. Come on. There it goes. Jeez. Oh, all right. Give me a triangle. Gosh dang it. Yes, normals will handle the rivets, for sure. Okay, now I'm going to go out here and kind of block this in. Like that. Totally, Shon. Good guy. I'm going to do that same thing over here. And then just kind of pull this out to make a bevel so it catches that edge. Is there a special way to model off of a base mesh? What do you mean, Daniel? Like, so using, I guess I can try to explain. Using a base mesh can work in one of two ways. You can either take a base mesh after the fact and try and wrap it to match, you know, because your intention is to use the topology from it, right? So you're just essentially stealing the topology that it has, which will save you from doing what I'm doing now, which is retopologizing. Or you can just start with a base mesh as just to have something in place. It's almost like making an armature for a traditional clay model where somebody's already has an armature and they've already just gobbed on a bunch of clay and then they hand it to you, right? And then you're like, oh, thanks. And then you just start going to town with what they've already done. That's kind of like how working with a base mesh works as far as sculpting. You essentially take that base mesh, and the reason I don't teach starting with base meshes and the reason I don't give you meshes is because it will affect your sculpting. It will influence the sculpt. So then all of a sudden all your sculpts will look the same. You can tell, like go look on ArtStation, and you can almost tell who is starting from the same base mesh every single time. And especially like if you look at DAZ models, they all kind of have that same look. You know what I'm saying? Like they all look like a DAZ model. And not that there's anything bad about that, but they're forcing their modelers to start with the same base mesh because it saves time and money. And then they also, you know, market around, yeah, this is this character and this is this character. But even when they're separate characters, their faces still kind of look the same because they started at the same place. So if you want truly unique characters, that's why I recommend starting from scratch every time. And it really doesn't take too long. But that being said, it is a nice exercise to start with a base mesh sometimes because you can also learn from it. You can learn from what other people have done with their meshes, and then you're like, oh, I like what this person did here. So next time I make a mesh, I'm going to keep that in mind and do that with my mesh, if that makes sense. So there, you know, it's if you use it as a learning experience, totally do it. But just don't start with a base mesh every time. That's my advice, and that's just my my personal reasons why. And even though I say that, a lot of times companies, to save money and time, they will say, and also rigging too, they will say start with this base mesh because it will save a lot of time if it's if they want the same point count. I've talked about this before because I talked to like Sergi from and Dylan from Disney Feature. When they make models for Disney Feature film, if it has a whole bunch of humanoid characters like Big Hero 6, all of those Big Hero 6 characters, other than Big Hero 6 himself, all of the human characters use the exact same base mesh, and they just brought it into ZBrush and just pushed it around. But they were limited. They could not cut anything in. They couldn't use Sculptus Pro. They couldn't Dynamesh. None of that. All they could do was mush it around with the move brushes, and you know, anything that would not destroy the surface of the model, they could use. And that also comes with UVs, but the UVs will get stretched, so they typically have to redo the UVs. But yeah, it is kind of like DNA. And I think the same went with the Zootopia characters. A lot of the animal characters used the same base mesh because it's just faster, and it's, like I said, it's faster for the rigging department to rig up your character because it's based on the same vert count. So every point of a model has a number, like a specific number assigned to it. I don't know if these are going to line up. Looks like it's spiraling maybe a little bit. Anyway, they all have they'll have a specific number. And if you start with your skin weights with the same point and you assign it to, you say, okay, skin weight algorithm, start with this single point. Usually it's like a triangle down on the foot, on the heel. I learned this from Kevin Freeman. Kevin Freeman rigged all the characters for Animation Mentor. And I freelanced a couple of those characters. I worked on the ogre for the creature animation stuff, and that's essentially how we did it. Is we built the characters. They were all with the same base mesh, so they could be rigged quicker. Yeah, exactly. They just changed the hooves and the feet and the hand. It depends on what, how much different the characters are. Sometimes they wouldn't even change those. They would just mush the mesh, mesh mushing. They would just mush it into place. As long as there's enough geometry there, then you can make it happen, Oh yeah. You linked a pixel panel in the Discord chat where they talked about it? Cool. They could cut and paste in a lot of different meshes that were pre-approved. Yep, for sure. It's really interesting to listen to them talk about that too. And if you have the means and you're in LA, in Glendale, yeah, or Burbank, try and get a tour if you can. They're super nice. I don't know. They tend to give more tours around expos that are. Oh, stop it. Like CTN, if you go down into Burbank for CTN, they usually give tours during CTN. What in the world? Snap. Why aren't you snapping? Okay. Try that. And then bring it up. There we go. There we go. Man, it was like snapping to something. I think I did that same point like 50 times. Oh yeah, super fun to watch. Thanks. I'm trying to get like Corey Loftus, if you guys know who Corey Loftus is. He was the lead character concept artist on Zootopia. He's one of my favorite artists of all time, not just because he's really good at illustrating, but he's just really fun to listen to, and he's full of stories. And he came to BYU, a college here in town, and invited us down to come and watch. Sam Nilsson is if you're familiar with him, he's a professor at BYU. Invited us down to come and listen to his talk, and he talked about Zootopia a lot. And he also worked on a game called WildStar before he was at Disney Feature. And WildStar I love the art direction of WildStar. It's really cool, and he talked about that a lot. And I don't know if any of his conversations are on YouTube or not. But yeah, during the summit, they don't really give tours during the summit. That one's hard because it's only a few days, and it's in Hollywood. Excuse me, it's not near Burbank, so you'd have to get an Uber or something and drive down there. But, okay, once I have these in place, I can just kind of relax and make them more square, because that's our goal, to make the quads, four-sided squares. But sometimes when you smooth it and relax it, it will kind of forget about what it was snapped to, like this. And so you got to watch out for that. You can see this one. So I'm going to have to undo that and do it by hand. Sometimes you just have to come through here and just move the points by hand. And hopefully they stick. Yep, I will offer up the replay for you guys to watch. You can watch me struggle. I struggled with 3D code a lot at the beginning. So the good thing about watching this back is you can watch it back at double speed. So you can watch and slow it down when you need to. I kind of wish I would have done that for the actual workshop. So then people could choose to make their own time lapse or not, or watch it real time if they want to torture themselves. So I'm just trying to even out these quads by hand instead of smoothing it out. But you guys, I hope you can kind of see where I'm going with the topology and see how this line is kind of flowing down the leg like this? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these lines. They're almost like contour lines, if you know what contour lines are. Yeah, thank you, Shon. I appreciate it. Oh, you'll be there a day or two prior? I used to live out there, so I'm taking advantage of seeing old stomping grounds. Awesome. Oh, you lived right on Hollywood Way in Burbank. Oh, cool. Yeah, when I do the Zbrush Summit, I usually don't go down early, but I am going to be at the Lightbox Expo this year, and I don't know if they're going to be doing studio tours during that expo or not. But I know that that's kind of a replacement for CTN for some folks, so I don't know what is going to happen with studio tours. We'll have to see. But I'm not sure I'm going to CTN this year. Right now, it doesn't look like I will be, so we'll have to see. Yes, Donna, thank you. You will never get geometry like this using ZRemesher, ever. It just doesn't work. It's an automatic algorithm. And when people ask me, can I just use ZRemesher to do my thing and just do it automatic so I don't have to, sit and click and make every single quad manually? And it's unfortunately, the answer is no, because of this. You don't get perfect, not that this is perfect, but you don't get quads like this from ZRemesher. You just don't. If I had to pick one, Corinne, it depends on what your goal is. It depends on what your goal is. I know you're coming from New York, so that'd be big for 2 trips. But gosh, you know what? I'd probably come to the Zbrush Summit. I probably would, because that one's tough. Here's the 2 reasons. The reason to come to Zbrush Summit is to network and to also learn stuff about ZBrush. There are lots and lots of character artists at the Zbrush Summit. There are also producers and just lots of people in the industry. When I say in the industry, it spans more than just the game industry. So does Lightbox Expo and CTN, but the Zbrush Summit is specifically targeted at at ZBrush modelers, and that's with character modelers and with environment modelers, with collectibles, television, film, all sorts of stuff. All those people are there. So it's more focused, I guess, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. That's my favorite conference to go to. And then CTN, on the other hand, CTN and Lightbox, I feel like they're going to kind of be very, very similar. They're more based on film than games, kind of film and television. Their games aren't really represented very well there, and collectibles aren't represented very well. They're there, but they're just not in force, right? So if you're looking to get into film or television and you want a network, that's kind of the place to be. And there's also, I would say, there are way more illustrators and animators and things like that at CTN Lightbox. Way less modelers. There's hardly any modelers there. The only ones I know of when I'm there are the ones that I know. It's like I know that they're a modeler because I just know them and who they are. And Otherwise, if you're just walking around, you couldn't, you know, they don't have a flashing sign that says, I'm a modeler. I just know them and who they are usually, so I can kind of go talk to them and say hi and stuff. But yeah, you'd probably get more out of the Zbrush Summit than you would out of CTN and Lightbox, if I were to guess. How do you approach people at conventions at the CTN? Well, that's a good question. If I were just starting out, it would be, I think what I would do is I would go to panels so I could see who these people are, or, you know, kind of research who these people are and kind of pick out and find the people that you would want to talk to, and then figure out what you would want to say to them or what you would want to talk to them about, and just kind of strike up a conversation. You know, it's like, and there's people that have nothing to do with me, but I'm just a fan of them, you know, like Aaron Blaze. I love Aaron Blaze. He's a super cool guy, an ex-Disney feature animator, just like Tom Bancroft. They're all there at CTN. And you can just, they're super open and kind, and there's usually a line to go talk to them, but usually the line is people going to show them their work, right? It's like, hey, check out my work. What do you think? And looking for feedback. But sometimes it's just, hey, I'm a big fan of your work, Aaron, and I love your tutorials and stuff like that. And, you know, just, it depends on what you want to talk to them about. And but as far as going there to specifically get work, that one's a little more difficult because they have portfolio reviews on site, and they also have companies that are there that have booths that are hiring, like Disney and DreamWorks and, you know, some television stuff. But it's, I don't know how difficult like Blizzard is there too. So they're hiring from there, and you can get a dialogue going with them and let them look at your portfolio, give you some feedback, that kind of stuff. So it's always good to go there and just get a portfolio review, not necessarily be looking for a job, but just kind of like, it's nice to go and get somebody to look at it and give you feedback before actually being under the pressure of an interview or something like that. You can just go like, well, what do you think of my stuff? You know, that kind of stuff. And they do have a few portfolio reviews at the Zbrush Summit, but not as many. It's kind of localized, I guess. But they do have it set up, and you have to get there early and kind of sign up for it. And there's people that actually fly in specifically to get their portfolios reviewed and things like that. So they do have them at both places. Oh yeah, that you missed Aaron's workshop. Yeah, that's tough. Find the closest bar and show, and yeah, really, honestly, that's not too far away from the truth. I know for a fact that Aaron loves to drink, and a lot of the conversations do happen at the bars afterward. That's honestly where I met most of my the people I wanted to talk to, like all the Disney feature animators. Where they always are hanging out at the bar, like Alina Tuttle and Sergi and you know, all those guys. They're just hanging out there, and they're super friendly. You just walk up to them, hey, you know, what's going on? And yeah, it just depends. And it also helps if somebody's there to introduce you. And I know that's not always the case, but sometimes, because I've been to CTN so often that sometimes I'll bring somebody with me, like Matthew Armstrong, and I'll just be like, hey, this is my good friend Matt. He's an awesome illustrator, you know, blah blah blah, and it kind of goes from there. So that's also something you can do if you know someone. Anyway, yeah, it's a really good time. All the conferences, all three of those. I've never been. Well, Lightbox is the first time this year. I'm kind of combining CTN and Lightbox together. So, all right, you guys. I think this is a good spot to end for today. I think we finally got a good cadence going on this retopology, and you can kind of see where I'm going with it. You can see where I've used triangles very little, but necessarily, I couldn't really put quads in this area, so I had to use triangles. Same with this area right here. I used some triangles, but just kind of just use them sparingly, but it's okay to use them. Don't use triangles in a mesh that you're going to want to sculpt on, because a sculpting mesh is different than a final in-game or in-film mesh where you want it to be all, or where triangles are okay. So, and film is a little different than games because in film, you actually use subdivision levels that are rendered at the, or subdivision levels that get rendered, and quads and work well with subdivisions. Triangles work, but they make poles, so it's kind of hard to get away from those poles. So you want to model in all quads when it comes to film. So, and you'll also be using displacement maps rather than normal maps. That's a different thing too. Anyway, yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being patient with me as I work through, you know, kind of learning 3D code again, because I haven't been in here for a while. But now I'm starting to get my footing back and remembering what it takes to actually retopologize in here. So, and I'm having a good time with it. And I always love having you guys to chat with too. It helps instead of, otherwise, like I said, I just put on some good music and just kind of get in that Zen state, and it's just therapeutic, and you're just kind of like laying down the quads, you know, just like pop, 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 puzzling through it. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to it. The only other thing I'm wanting to mention is, just like retopologizing the hand, is I'm planning for the future, meaning, you know, I cut that hand topology to go around so I could split it. I'm also thinking about where I'm going to split this leg, and it's probably going to be down this line right here, all the way down here. So I don't want any triangles or poles connected to that row. I want that row to be nice and clean, quads on both sides. So then when it comes time to UV it, I can just select it and flay it out just like that. So anyway, yep. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend, or have a great week. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll try and answer your questions then. In the meantime, have a fantastic go at making mermaids. So happy mermaid, and just do some sculpts. I'm going to do some with you. I'll be posting my little not turntables, but time lapses. I'm going to record some time lapses. If you don't know how to make a time lapse, watch the beginning of this student only live stream back, and I will show, I talk about how to make a time lapse inside of ZBrush. You can do it inside of ZBrush. It's a lot of fun. So, and I'd love for you guys to post your videos up in the community. I'd love to see them, your time lapses, and just kind of what you come up with. And don't, you know, it's okay to be afraid if you don't want to post in the community. That's completely fine. Like I said, these are almost throwaway sculpts. This is just for you to get better. Better, better, better. That's the whole thing. All right. Take care, and we'll see you later. All right. Cheers.